While many RPG Maker games fall into the trap of generic design and formulaic storytelling, some titles tweak the formula and create something entirely new. Hylics distinguishes itself with its unique art style and its innovative gameplay loop. Through his distinctive approach to world building, developer Mason Lindroth invites the player into a bizarre world where surreal design meets an unconventional narrative, crafting a unique experience. Welcome to Hylics. The graphics of Hylics are nothing short of spectacular, merging claymation and photography, the splash of dithering, to create a dreamlike game world. Each character and environment presents undefinable and sometimes nonsensical yet beautiful designs, as if plucked from the depths of the unconscious. Lindroth's artistic vision creates an atmosphere that is both enchanting and unsettling, setting it apart from its more generic peers. At the heart of Hylics lies an innovative combat system, very different to traditional RPG mechanics. A significant feature is the absence of random encounters, which is always a plus in my book. You can see all enemies on the map and run from most encounters. Instead of the standard experience points and level ups, players engage in battles that yield meat as a reward. If the player is, however, defeated in combat, there is a well-executed melting animation of the main character's head and body, after which the players find themselves in the afterlife. Here they can relax on the couch and restore their flesh and will. This game's names for HP and MP respectively. The afterlife is also the only place where players can grind meat to increase the overall flesh of the party. One meat yields the player 2 flesh points, which leads me to a criticism of this mechanic. The player can only enter the afterlife if they die. There's no other way. This means if the player has gathered a lot of meat, they have to willingly get themselves killed just to transform said meat into flesh. To return to the normal world, players must activate crystals of different colors scattered throughout the game. Once activated in the real world, the crystals glow, enabling access to this area from the afterlife by activating the correspondent crystal there and stepping through the gate. Essentially, this serves as a warp point system. This unique progression mechanic eliminates the grind for experience points, encouraging strategic thinking and making every encounter feel somewhat significant. Speaking of combat, the battle animations are a highlight of the already incredible art, especially the healing items. The player characters can also learn special attacks, called gestures, by interacting with televisions scattered throughout the game world. This adds a layer of exploration to the gameplay, and prompting players to seek out these TVs as the only means to enhance their combat skills. All characters learn the same gesture from a television. However, backtracking to recruit characters and teaching them those skills can become tedious. Players must also find paper cups and water coolers to increase the will stat of the whole party. When a paper cup is used, both the cup and the water cooler are consumed and cannot be used again. If a party member is missing during this process, they miss out on the enhancement, which can be frustrating and detracts from the overall flow of the game. Exploration is the core of the experience. Since players cannot die in this game, nothing halts the exploration. If progress through an area stalls, players might seek out a new party member or discover another TV set to gain a skill that could turn the tide of battle. The open world allows various approaches, and this focus on exploration and the absence of death reminds me of Planescape Torment. However, this is where the comparisons end. Planescape Torment had a great story, utilizing its setting to enable players to explore a rich narrative filled with great dialogue and world building. Hylics, with its extraordinary world, could have built a unique narrative for itself, but falls short of fulfilling its potential. Regarding the story of Hylics, there is little narrative to speak of, at least in the conventional sense. Character motivations are sparse. Wayne serves as a somewhat silent protagonist. The Dustmole travels with the party as an archaeologist seeking knowledge about the world and its cultures. Some Snowset joins because she's a friend of Wayne's, and Pangorma is a warrior in search of battle. Even the wiki states that the first game is light on story and that certain elements are better explained in the second installment. However, I haven't played the second game, and the first does not work as a standalone narrative. The title, Pangorma, Greatest of the Dread Knights of Ethor, suggests a backstory, perhaps involving a kingdom called Ethor and its creed of the Dread Knights. But that kind of backstory for any of the main characters is never explored. The randomization of NPC dialogue only amplifies the weak narrative. Not only are the sentences randomized, but even the words within those sentences, rendering NPC interactions nonsensical and making it difficult to engage with these characters, which could otherwise enrich the game world. You do what you do in every JRPG. You get the boat, then the airship, and at the end, you beat the end boss called Gibby, and the game ends. No big fanfare, no ending cutscene. A somewhat disappointing ending. Although I must praise the sequence with the moon, those are great visuals. Complementing the visuals is Hylics' ethereal soundtrack. The music combines ambient tones with haunting melodies, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that complements the game's bizarre landscapes. Some tracks underscore the randomness and nonsensical nature of the story and the dialogue. The music plays a crucial role in the establishment of the mood, drawing players deeper into the uncanny world of Hylics. The soundscape is often well chosen, be it in the menu sounds, or special effects within the game world. Special attention and care has been put into the battle animations. The sounds fit the gorgeous animations like a glove. In conclusion, Hylics is a beautiful blend of surreal art and innovative gameplay that transcends the typical RPG Maker experience. With its striking visuals, a moody and sometimes nonsensical soundtrack, and an engaging combat system, developer Mason Lindroth creates a truly unique world. However, I must emphasize the lack of a coherent narrative, character motivations, and interesting NPCs. Without these aspects, the game feels more like style without substance. I aim to highlight these shortcomings not to overly criticize Lindroth's work, but to suggest areas for improvement for upcoming game developers, especially within the RPG Maker scene. Hylics creates an intriguing and inviting world that beckons players to explore it. This potential should always be utilized in game design. The world could be explored through quests, locations, and NPCs that share the history, culture, and politics of the world. Ideally, this NPC dialogue would intertwine with quests and world building. This, however, is a type of writing achieved only by the best of games. I still enjoyed my time with Hylics and can recommend the game on the merit of its style and gameplay alone, despite its narrative's shortcomings. It took me roughly 5 hours to complete, and I had a good time with it. I wish Mason Lindroth the best of luck as a developer, and I want to remind you that saying RPG games is for losers. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.